It's getting awfully cold outside, so how about we stay inside and enjoy a piping hot mug of video games. What's going on, guys? I'm Prox and welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we made 1800 packaged water in this magnificent wall. This means that we are now one step closer, or actually one step away from our mega power plant project. So to keep the progress going and not to fall short on the promise that I made you in the previous episode, we now have to not only produce fuel, but also burn fuel to make a lot of power. And according to my maths, we can produce as much as 1600 fuel with as little as 18 refineries. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start building the thing in this area right here and expand as needed. So what I thought initially is I just was gonna have like a row of 18 refineries. But then I thought, is that gonna make for a nice looking factory floor, or is that even exciting? And the answer to that is unsurprisingly no. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have 2 rows of 9 refineries, and each of those 9s are gonna be split into sections of 3s. This way it's not only gonna be like a true form of a modular design, it is also gonna have some benefits when it comes to balancing our heavy oil and H2O inputs. So since our water packing is split into 6 independent sections capable of producing 300 packaged water per line, and our refineries only needing 270, that gives us a really nice overhead in water production, so we don't have to worry about the supply. Then we'll take 800 heavy oil residue from 2 separate tanks, each carrying 400 cubic meters per minute, and feed it to the refineries in a very similar way to water supply. And all of this should net us a supply of roughly around 1600 fuel per minute, part of which I'll immediately use to generate over 10,000 megawatts of power to really step up from the measly 2500 that we're making right now, because I'm really sick and tired of having to turn off factories in order to do a little bit of expansion. So as I said, we're gonna have conveyor lifts coming in through the holes in the ground, bringing in packaged water to the refineries, and then we're also gonna have heavy oil residue that is brought in from the same logistics layer underneath. Then we're gonna have pipes running across the refineries and then spreading out and balancing out downwards to the inputs where they belong. Oh, and I almost forgot, we'll need to have packagers, or in this case unpackagers, in front of every single refinery to unpack the fuel and send the canisters back for recycling and sinking to keep the production line not only moving, but at the same time fully saturated. So we've been working our way up to this for quite a while, and it's about to pay off, because all we gotta do now is, well, build it. Quite literally. While you're enjoying this time lapse, I want to remind you to boop the thumb under the video. Thanks. And this is what I think peak fuel makery looks like. I probably have outdone myself here. Originally, I was thinking maybe I was supposed to put it inside, you know, like the rest of the factory is, but then I thought to myself, I've never actually seen oil or fuel refining facility being indoors, so I kind of couldn't justify putting it between walls and putting a roof over it. And that kind of opened up the whole thing for this nice looking and what I would call a pretty good catwalk system. So if we step back a little bit, we see that it is very clearly made of modules of 6 refineries that are producing roughly 540 fuel per minute for a total of 1600. And right in between every segment we have this sort of an entrance area where we have stairs that lead up so we can access the factory from above, and it also allows us to go in between the machinery. What it also does is have these nice walkways down, where if we go down here, we end up in the logistics layer, which is where the actual magic is happening. And this is unlike anything that I've built so far. The basic overview is that we have, wait, where was it? Oh yeah, here it is. We have our empty canisters being manufactured with our plastic that make its way all the way to the splitter and then get split between two sections, which actually go into containers that feed our water packing system. Now, all the rest of the shenanigans that are happening right here are basically the recycling system. So once the canisters make their way up to the water packing site, which is this thing right here, it gets filled up with water and gets pooped out on this side, making its way to these conveyor lifts, and down back they go. From there, the water packing, as I said before, is split into 6 sections, each producing 300 packaged water per minute for a total of 1800. And then all the outputs make their way to the respective sections of the fuel refining, so it can get mixed with heavy oil residue and become fuel. Then once the fuel gets made, it gets pooped out into these packagers where it becomes fuel in pipes, and empty canisters get sent all the way back to the collection conveyor lifts or whatever, and on these belts they make their way back to the water packing system. So once the empty canisters are back, they go through a merging process, and if the system is overfilled, they immediately end up in the small awesome sink, which is, by the way, a add-on I had to utilize in the game in order to make this thing as compact as it is. Now I do understand that the awesome sink has to have this grindy bit up here for it to appear functional, at least. But what I don't understand is, why does it have to have this silo looking thing with massive antennas on top of it? It just doesn't make sense. So if the thing was just this bit without the tower, I wouldn't have to resort to adding add-ons to the game. And as long as it doesn't change the way the game is fundamentally supposed to be played, I don't see what the big deal is, and I think it's fine. Oh, and let's not forget our giant pit, well, not giant, but the waterfall pit, that to some may resemble a fictional bottomless pit from a movie 300. So now that we have all this set up and hopefully working properly, we have to think where we're gonna burn all the fuel. And again, I've been crunching some numbers, and it appears to me that we are going to need somewhere around 40 to 45 fuel generators to generate the amount of power that we're gonna need to be able to, well, progress and expand. I don't really have a plan on how I want to approach this, but looking at this, it kinda does make sense to continue building that direction towards east. Maybe going down or up a little bit just to give the entire structure some depth, but you know, we don't want to go that far down because of these farting rocks that to this day cannot be destroyed in game, so we kinda have to be aware and keep our distance. Oh wow, that consumes a lot of goodies. Let's see, how much will it cost? Let's say 50, okay? Oh, no. Oh, wow. This just opened up my eyes to another layer of complexity that I didn't anticipate. I think my temporary setup for motors, heavy modular frames and computers is not gonna cut it. Yeah, we only have what? 70? 150? These have motors. Oh, okay. We do have motors at least. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna have to keep the machines running, and we'll come back. Hopefully everything is going to be filled out. So I've been trying to figure out where to put this temporary power plant station thingy for a while, right? And it dawned on me, what am I thinking? Because the priority here is to put the 50 or 45 fuel power generators somewhere out of the way where it wouldn't interfere with anything we might build in the future. So putting it down here will definitely interfere, so it's a big no-go. And that means I'm probably gonna have to cramp the entire thing somewhere in here, like right in the middle of the air, right in mid-air or something, and have like pillars extend to the ground so it looks at least somewhat reasonable. So the entire thing would go probably a little something like this. Just gotta make sure we have a nice little gap so it's kind of its own separate structure, and then away we go. Now, of course, I want to immediately switch to a more, I don't know, segmented kind of looking foundation, so it's much easier to space things out and I don't have to do a bunch of painting later on. Like a concrete foundation, and then off we go. So as you can see, this is just a massive rectangle. This is where I hope to fit all of the fuel burners and then it's gonna be absolutely easy to demolish. But you know what? This might actually not be enough space, so I think I'm just gonna expand a little more. You know, better safe than sorry, right? So let me just grab this foundation and go boom, bam, bop. Very nice. So I'm gonna house probably like 11 fuel generators, 11 more fuel generators, 11 more, and you get the gist. It can't be super hard. I mean, fuel generators are basically squares. And now it's just a question of how and where we're gonna place them. What I think could be a good layout is just simply 2 lines of these generators, one like this and another one slightly offset so we can actually put in fuel from the same side. Something a little like this. So we have this input right here and we also have this one right here. This is gonna be slightly clipping, but you know what? Yeah, okay, it kind of looks okay and it's not too much in your face clipping. So as long as you don't look for it, yeah, I think it's probably gonna be fine. The only thing left now is to actually build... How many was it? 45, let's say? Yeah. Yeah, we gotta go and see if we actually have enough resources. Hello there, beautiful fuel refinery. Oh, and hello, a conveniently placed tube. Don't mind if I do. Okay. We have 150. Is that gonna be enough? Nearly. Okay. Then we have... Oh, we probably have enough of these. No? Okay. Also very close. And 100% we have enough motors. Oh, yeah. More than enough. We are gonna have to wait a little bit for the heavy modular frames and for the computers. Everything else appears to be in order. Yeah, steel pipes are gonna have to go and make some by hand, unfortunately, because we do not have any excess since our steel plant is down. Also, we have like a bajillion of stators, but we don't really need any excess. Okay, so rubber and encased industrial beams it is. I actually don't think that the thing is producing because we don't have anywhere to put our heavy oil residue to. Yeah, that's why our polymer resin isn't being made. So I don't think we have much here. We have 900. Okay, that's absolutely gonna do for now. Okay, let me just try something real quick. I know we're gonna pull a whack ton of power when I do this. Well, probably if it works out, but I really wanna kind of bump up the production of our plastics and rubbers. So if I go here and flush the thingy, is it just gonna make its way back up? No, it's not. Okay, so it kind of gets dumped. So I'm gonna do this right here, and yeah, so I effectively just flushed over 7,000 cubic meters of fuel. But this actually should allow us to consume some of the heavy oil residue and consequently producing some more of polymer resin. Oh, okay. We can actually run the entire setup, hopefully for at least like half an hour to an hour. This way we're gonna accumulate quite a bit of rubber and plastic and packed water and what have you. So whenever we're ready to jumpstart the entire thing, including the power generating unit, everything should go smoothly and there shouldn't be any hiccups. So this is gonna be the basic premise of the setup. We're obviously gonna have some piping going on in weird places, just as we saw before, but in a nutshell, it's basically 12 fuel power generators all facing same direction towards the middle, and then there's gonna be 12 more, or 24 more, I'm sorry, facing this way right along this line. Let's see, if I take this pipe down here. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm gonna have like a bunch of pipes already pre-split, if that's even a word or a term. And then we're gonna have what? 6 pipes on top and 6 underneath. And each of those pipes are gonna make their way to their respective pipelines. So we take this one, we take this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So the bottom ones are essentially gonna be non-existent, but we have to keep them there, you know, just for the sake of having support. And then everything is gonna go a little something like this. And then of course the other 2 are gonna be boom, boom, and then the pipes are gonna come from around here and from under here. Yeah, okay, there we go. So now if we take a sneak peek from up top, it's gonna reveal the basic view that is gonna be pretty much consistent across the entire thing. And it's gonna look way better once we have all 6 pipes going on this side and 6 more pipes on the other side. But of course, this is quite a daunting task, and even though I kind of look like I know what I'm talking about and I look like I know how I want to build it, I'm not certain. So I'm just gonna zone out, and this way I don't have to deal with it, and I also will never know exactly how I did it. And would you look at this, I actually managed to do it. I believe we have a little bit of time for overview of the thing that's going to solve all of our current problems. And by current, I don't mean recent, I mean the actual current. Look at this beauty, it's absolutely freaking awesome. And now all that's left to do is actually click the switch. Oh, and how awesome is this? The power consumption is absolutely spiking and the production is doing absolutely freaking nothing. It kind of needs a little bit of time to wind up, so while the thing is winding up, I wanted to show you something. So if we take a look at any of the machines, you see that we are actually overclocked to 250%. This took a crazy amount of power shards. I hope it's worth it, because as of right now, we do not actually suffer any discrepancies in terms of overclocking fuel power generators. They just, they just consume so much power shards in order to overclock them efficiently, so people don't usually do it. And the scaling is not really optimal either. But the developers have revealed that every single power generating unit, fuel power generators, coal power generators, nuclear, and all that fun stuff is going to scale linearly. Because you see right now we are overclocked to 250%. And we should be making 375 megawatts, which is absolutely awesome. So overclocking is going to be well worth the power shards. So in my eyes, I did deliver on my promise from the previous episode that we are going to have functioning fuel power plant built in episode 8, which we actually did. Now all I gotta do is actually double check if our fuel production is up to the task, which appears that it actually is. So now that we're looking at this lovely pollution, we can think about dismantling our old power plant and then repurpose that coal and sulfur to be a part of our production line towards turbo fuel, which is then going to turn this measly power plant and easily triple the output that is making right now, which to me sounds absolutely crazy. But that's what's on the agenda for the future endeavors. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video or a dislike if you didn't. And as always, this has been Aprox. Thank you for your eyeballs, and I'll see you in the next one.